I guess tell me first of all, how has COVID hit you?
Well, we had to close down for 3 months solid. We actually closed a week earlier than the government mandated us to because we had a fear for our own customers. We have an elderly clientele, and we were having some people coming in that had been away on holiday in places like Spain and Florida, and we were very concerned that they were going to bring something back to our customers. We weren't sure that they were being isolated before they were coming in. So we shut down a week ahead, and then the government, of course, mandated us about the 23rd. So we were closed solid from the 16th of March until the 15th of June.
Tell me about, even when it did reopen then, how were things?
Well, obviously busy for us because people had been such a long time without a haircut. But what we just decided to do in order to make things safe for the customers and a little more controlled environment for us was we started making appointments, which we've never done in the past. It's always been a walk-in only business. We didn't feel it was right to have our customers lined up outside. Obviously, we couldn't have people sitting inside because of the mandates of physical distancing and such. So by making the appointments, we led a much more controlled environment. And it actually has worked out very well. The customers have been really positive to it, and it's allowed Joy and I to get through our day without being incredibly, overrun and hectic. So.
Tell me about your problem.
So my landlord is a Toronto corporation. When we closed, I actually contacted the fellow that I liaison with through the landlord, just stating that we had closed down, and I asked him to just please contact me so we could have a conversation about what was going on and how we could move forward. I didn't ask him to not cash my April check, but I wanted to have a bit of a dialogue with him, concerning what might be happening going forward. We were all unsure at the time what was happening. He did not respond to me. They always cash my checks on the 6th of the month, but somehow were able to find the bank on the 2nd. So the check came out on the 2nd of April. So I paid the full month for April, even though I'd been down since middle of March. I informed them immediately, because I wasn't very happy with the situation, that I would be putting stop payment on May and June's checks. Their response to me was, "May I ask why?" And of course, me and my sarcastic attitude, the first thought was, have you been living under a rock? Seriously? Anyway, they contacted me and told me that...
and tell me why, just to get it all, I know but tell me why as well.
Why I wasn't paying the rent? Well, I was closed down. I had zero income. I'm a small business. I'm a sole proprietor. I have to, I have a mortgage at home, and I have a hydro bill at home, and I have the bills here. I just felt that, we needed to deal with something, and everything was so unsure at the time. When the CECRA program was introduced by the federal government and the provincial government, I immediately emailed the liaison and said, this is what's in place. I've already paid you for April. By the standards of what Trudeau has told us this will work, it really worked out that I'd already paid for 4 months worth of rent because it was 25% per party. They claimed they knew nothing about it. We'll have to look into it. They had given me the option immediately to pay May and June's rent in 12 equal installments. At the time I agreed to it simply because this was before the CECRA program was introduced, so I thought I had no other option. That came on, and I thought, okay, they have options, we'll do this. They refused to apply for it. They won't tell me why, other than they say that it will take them 10 to 15 years to recoup the 25% that they're going to lose. I explained.
And again, we're talking 2 months?
2 months worth of rent.
Okay. Yeah.
I explained to them I can never recoup the money that I've lost, whether it be income from haircuts or the rent that is owing. I gladly paid my utilities for the months that we were closed. I gladly paid July's rent, and I gladly paid August's rent, but I received an email from him because I'm refusing to pay May and June's rent in any way, shape, or form, although I did try to negotiate to pay the taxes, maintenance, and insurance portion. He has now sent me an email saying that they will escalate it, and by the end of the month, if he hasn't received checks, he will be locking me out, and I should not take it lightly because they've already locked tenants out of their premises.
You've been here how long?
I've been in this location just shy of 8 years.
You've been how do I say, barber, or how do I say?
I've been a barber for 15 years, and I've owned the business for 10.
What are your thoughts?
Like I've shared with this fellow, I understand they're in business as I am. This is not something that any of us chose to be living through. I feel that we all have to share the burden. It shouldn't be up to me to take the full onslaught of the situation. And it's just sad that he won't work with me.
And like you were saying, expand about what you said about the government, how you really don't blame the, like, you know, everybody's trying to do their best, so it's not, it's one of those things. Explain about the government, how you went to your MPP, but there's only
Yes.
so much. If you
So
can.
I contacted David Pacini's office, and Paige, who I deal with there. She was great. She sent back an email, and she was very sympathetic to the situation. Unfortunately, they can't force landlords to apply for the program. They can just encourage them to do it, and mine has chosen not to. So there's really nothing the government can do about it other than sympathize. I actually went to Adam Bureau here because I know of his connection with the town and the DBIA. I thought maybe there might be a program in place within Cobourg for the DBIA. Maybe there would be a grant or something along that line, but unfortunately they don't have anything either. And again, he actually apologized to me, and I'm like, it's not your fault. But it was nice to hear, another business person being very, sympathetic of the situation and wishing there was something that they could do to help. But there just isn't anything in place.
How long sort of have you known that the writing is on the wall, and have you reiterate that to customers, and what do the customers say to you about it?
So I've probably been talking to the customers about this situation for a month to a month and a half. I've not had, I've not had one single, I've had some customers who are in the real estate industry, side with the landlord, but for the most part, every single customer has been to the point of almost outrage that the landlord would do something like this to a tenant who has never missed a payment, never asked for anything. I've never asked for anything to be fixed. I've never asked to hold on to a check for a length of time. I've been an exemplary tenant, and really the customers are quite miffed and put out, and their thought is he needs to be taking his share of the burden like everybody else. We all are in this together, and we need to work together.
Tell me one thing, and that's what I was going to mention, is tell me what you said to me about how there's no programs in place really for you because you have no employees. Like, if you can
Right.
reiterate about that, because that's important. There's nothing really for you
Right.
that the government offers. Not that there's, we discussed, government's doing everything it can, and it's a work in progress, COVID.
Yes.
But with this, you don't fit the criteria.
No, I'm a small business. So I really slipped through the cracks in the business sense of things because I don't have employees. I don't have a payroll. And I don't necessarily make the amount of money that is required to meet those parameters. I was, as a sole proprietor, thank goodness I was able to take advantage of the CERB program. I did take advantage for that of the first 3 months. I was back to work, so I did not apply for the fourth month. I didn't think that was right. But CERB doesn't even cover half of my rent here. CERB wasn't more than 2 times my rent. It took more than half of my rent here, and I have bills at home to pay too. Again, I'm grateful that it was there, but it wasn't enough for me as a business. That was just more for my personal,
And because you're such a small business owner, there are no programs for you.
No, we slipped through the cracks being sole proprietors. And I understand that. That's that's the way it is. We cannot make everybody, it just can't.
You, for clientele, you get every walks of life. I'm guessing emergency services to politicians, if you can reiterate, like just...
I have lawyers, I have doctors, I have chiropractors, I have extremely wealthy, I have business owners, I have people who live, scrimp and save, and, the haircut is it's just an expense that's added. I put my prices up $2 a haircut because of the added expense of all the cleaning supplies. And I know that $2 was hurtful to some people. It was hard. So, you know, we see every walk of life in here.
What are your thoughts about the end is near? I guess it is the end near, and if it is near, like how confident are you the end is near, and what are your thoughts inside looking back at 8 years?
Well, it's been an awesome location. My business has grown exponentially by being down here. There's a part of me that's really excited to step away and try something a little bit different by doing my stuff in home and in people's homes, being a mobile service. Then there's this side where I just want to kind of throw up on my shoes because, oh my God, I'm leaving the safety net of what's here and what I've known for the last, 15 years. But I'm a positive person, and when one door closes, another one opens, and I'll make the most of it. And I've survived a lot worse than this, and I'll survive this too.
I think I'm going to say my last thing, like, it's no secret when I get my hair cut, I come here, and as I say, I'm open when it comes to that. But I think this, you, and when Al was here before, and now, but I think it's, you folks are a fixture in the downtown core. So I think when you were previously just up the street, less than a block, I think a piece of this downtown core will be gone if you can sort of reiterate if that's your thoughts.
I think so, and that was part of the biggest difficulty of making the decision was that you feel like you're letting your customers down to a certain degree, and I had a total of maybe 4 hours sleep last night because every time I tried to lay down, I would think of this customer and that customer, and and you fall in love with your customers. There are customers that come in here that I absolutely adore, and I love to see them walk through the door, and I know they adore me. And that's awesome. I have so many friends from what I've done, so many connections that I've made, and it's hard. It was a hard decision to do this, but I have to get past the fact that I can't make everybody happy. I have to do what's right for me.
And if you could talk about how much money are we talking?
In what is owed for rent?
Yeah.
$2,500.